Walk the sleigh's rubbish.
Hello lovelies, housekeeping, and I'm going to try and run through things more quickly than usual today because it's the village fete today, and going to have to get over there quick if we want to buy any of the cakes from the WI or whatever. Still freelancing, everything else is delayed. It has not been a good year. It's not been a good year for tabletoplers either. Various things have stopped us doing our regular games, and it looks like we might miss the one today too. So despite being an online paid game, we are not immune to the scheduling problems that plague people's RPG games in general. Shit that I'm doing will happen eventually. I'm just trying to stay on top of my pre-existing commitments, and that is taking everything I've got at the moment. Even though I am very slowly getting fitter, at least, and more well in some ways. It seems that if you do one thing, you lose the other, which sucks. Anyway, yeah. Comments on the UK age restrictions stuff coming in. Seb says, can anyone say massive data breach? And yeah, it is just a matter of time until either an age verification service or site gets breached, or a bunch of adult sites get breached because suddenly they're a lot more high value as targets for scammers, blackmailers, card skimmers, all the rest of it. So it's just a matter of time. A large target has been painted on the backs of both industries. Habitcher says, on a non-prawn tangent, the government in my country finally introduced a long-harboured idea, introducing a government-controlled backdoor in all future and past via OS computers and smartphones, because there's no way an official sanctioned security breach can ever get exploited, whether by third-party actors or government employees. Again, another thing that is a matter of time, and if one government demands it, and if various groups comply, then that's the case globally, because that backdoor is still gonna apply. So yeah, very dark times this week when it comes to free expression and sexual expression. Yeah, things have gone sideways very quickly and all at once. Corpuses says, they've been doing that in the US for a while. It's never stopped kids here from watching that content. Yeah, that's something I wanted to say. There's a lot of piss-taking over the British. So, gonna flog your log, I need to see your license, sort of stuff going on. But this has been going on elsewhere for a long time, and in multiple states in the US, and particularly Texas, who are already overextending it to censor anime and manga. So, yeah, the license stuff is funny, but it's not just us, and we're not even uniquely bad on it. Tarkus says, you look like a warlock, but yes, the Orwellian UK has gone on for far too far. And mangled your English there at the end there. Well, thank you for saying I look like a warlock. Felt judgmental, and that is a weird thing that I'm kind of seeing here. The kind of far-right online troll shitheads simultaneously want to decry the UK for censoring content, which, will probably include far-right content and stuff as well. But they have terminal brainworms when it comes to criticism of porn. They don't see that as an expression of freedom. They see it as a terrible, terrible issue. So they're kind of caught between the two, praising and condemning censorship at the same time. You would hope the cognitive dissonance would cause them to short out like an unsolvable puzzle force-fed to the Borg, but no, apparently not. On escapism, Piotr Frank says, apes with tails, love it, consider it stolen. I was quite proud of that one, and I thought maybe more people would pick up on it, because the joke is that apes don't have tails, monkeys do, but I'm spelling tails Tales. I doubt I'm the first person to come up with it, but I was really quite proud of that. And only one person noticed. I has a sad. Witch Queen says, I wish that Grimm's news show Fuck This Gay Earth, or FTGE, was able to come back. This time calling it Newsload with Skip Breakfast. Lol. Maintaining Skip Breakfast's energy for a whole show would be extremely demanding. Plus I would have to keep a shirt, blazer and tie available at all times. And I'd have to be not just high energy enough to perform as Skip Breakfast, but I would also have to be high energy enough to read the news, come up with jokes, and present it all on my lonesome within about half an hour. I kind of miss doing the news shows and sort of live reacting to oh god, what now? In the morning, but I just don't think it's viable at the moment, unfortunately. If I had a support crew, if I had a lot of money, it might be something I would add back to the streaming channel, but no. On collective shouting, Makiura says, I feel much the same way. This was me feeling tired and fed up with constantly fighting for free expression. On the matter of payment processors, I'm surprised nobody has tried to create a non-crypto competitor somehow. I don't really know how you would do it, because setting up a whole new credit card infrastructure doesn't seem particularly viable. And other methods of going around it have also suffered, like PayPal has exactly the same sorts of restrictions, even though it's a secondary payment method, because it has to interface with Visa and MasterCard so that people can add and remove money from their PayPal accounts. So you can't just buy PayPal bucks or whatever and then spend them however you want, because, well, the owners behind PayPal have been pretty conservative since the get-go, really, same as the owners of eBay later on. And then you've got Visa and MasterCard as well, who they have to intersect with. So there is no real way to crack open that duopoly, unfortunately. It is a sorry and sad state of affairs. Maybe we need, I don't know, an economic bill of rights. Someone had that idea back in the first half of the 20th century. Maybe it's something that's worth coming back to again. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, but I should be able to spend my money on anything legal that I want to, right? Unfortunately, we all live online now, and cash is king. Doesn't work. On the Rip Crypt actual play, the creator, Keenan Antos, turned up and said, absolutely stunning, totally blew me away, loved every second. So I've done a few of those. It's not exactly live play. Play reports with dramatization, I suppose, is what you would call them. And I do enjoy doing them, but it is very work intensive for little reward. If they were to take off enormously and become super duper popular, I would probably do more of them. As it is, I just do them when I have the energy and enthusiasm to do them. So, but it was nice to have the actual designer pop by and not say I got any rules wrong, because that's the thing. Lastly, I know we've kind of stopped responding seriously to a lot of the Kalergi plan stuff, but you know, I'm looking at the riots in Epping that might spread if the weather stays hot, and it feels like at least pushing back to some small degree will help me cope with it. Anyway, some asshole tried, as they always seem to, tried to make it not about the topic of the video, which is whether there's a Kalergi plan. You know, this conspiracy theory that in the pages of Practical Idealism, that this guy set out a plan for the usurpation of Western Europe. It does not contain any such thing. So instead, they keep trying to make the argument about something else. And this loser in the genetic lottery tried to make it about grooming gangs and stuff, which is and sexual assault, which is kind of what the Epping stuff is about. So he hits me with, Muslim men are 28% more likely to rape than British white men, as per government statistics. Only a groomer would defend a groomer. These children are not liars. It's always they go to. It's a thought-terminating cliche. If I don't believe you, if you are warping statistics and being dishonest and post hoc rationalizing stuff to justify your racist bigotry, then somehow that means you're defending nonsense. I don't really understand why they do this or why they think it should be persuasive. I guess some people get shut up by such accusations because it is kind of witch hunty, I suppose, like the pedo hunter general on that animated show. But anyway, I did this gentleman the honour of actually looking this up, and no UK government statistics say that Muslim men are 28% more likely to rape than white British men, and that would still be a vanishingly small percentage of Pakistani men, even if it were true, because hardly any men rape. You are more likely to be attacked in some way as a man going out at night on the streets than you are as a woman. You're about half again as likely. Most men are absolutely fine, tickety-boo, lovely or at least non-objectionable fellas. It is a small number that do a lot of what goes on. But in fact, religion is not even recorded in official crime data. And ethnicity wasn't for a long time. And the Home Office and the Office of National Statistics do not publish crime rates based on religious identity. So how would you even know? It doesn't appear to be true. There don't appear to be any statistics that support it. Now, we can use ethnicity as a sort of crude proxy, I suppose. Available data on ethnicity rather than religion shows that the vast majority of people who are processed for child sexual abuse, that means arrested, taken in, questioned, all of that, not that they actually did it, but the vast majority of those people are white. About 88% of defendants were white, and the largest single ethnic group was white British, 83% of those processed for that, while Pakistani heritage accounted for only 2%, which roughly matches their share of the wider population. So there is no spike, there is no additional amount. They are not particularly more or even less likely, though when it comes to overall crime statistics, immigrants are more law-abiding than native citizens. A 2020 Home Office report on group-based child sexual exploitation, child sex trafficking as you might call it, which was prompted by high-profile cases in places like Rotherham and Rochdale, came to the conclusion that group-based offenders, even, are still most commonly white, and found no reliable evidence that Pakistani or Muslim men were disproportionately involved. And even in those handful of high-profile cases, which could, on a short-term basis, distort the statistics in the same way that 9/11 distorted the terrorism death statistics, there were white people in those gangs as well. And yet everyone always talks about Pakistani grooming gangs in reference to Rotherham and Rochdale, but there were other people involved as well who weren't Pakistani, weren't Muslim, weren't immigrants. So, not that I'm under any illusion that the actual statistics and accurate information will make any difference to people like my interlocutor here, but it might walk some people back from the precipice of becoming racist pieces of shit. What a world, what a world, what a world. Zang. Sup, bitches? I'm reliably informed that I'm terrible at pimping my stuff. So here I am, pimping my stuff in what's hopefully an amusing way. If you want to interact with me and follow me, you can find me on Twitter @Grimasaur and @Mort_post for official announcements.